Hey guys, so today I'll be continuing on with the visual novel Kansei. Last time we did the SD route, the nothing happens ending, and this time I'll be going through and doing the SD route again, but the killer too late ending. This involves just a couple of different choices, but the main choices are still the same. There's a lot of difficulty with, I was trying to figure out what things I should show and what things I shouldn't show. Like some decisions are so arbitrary, but you get slightly different text. But what I'm going to try to do is show the choices that don't have a significant impact on the end, like that won't lead to any of the other endings, but I will show the choices that are kind of lead to at least like a couple lines of different text, or at least like a new area or something. So this video is going to be quite jumpy aroundy. I'm going to, same with the next couple videos, I'm going to skip everything that was already read and just go straight to the new parts. So I'll just give like a little preface to how we got to that part, and then I'll just read through that section. And another thing is that in the first playthrough, that in my first video, there's actually a lot of stuff that I missed. Like, I talked to everyone once, but you get a lot of new dialogue if you go back and talk to everyone again. So I'll be doing that in this video as well. And that'll be near the end, right before the ending. And finally, the next videos that I'll make will be for the other two main endings, so they'll involve a lot more different major choices. This one is more the slight choices that lead to a slightly different end within the major route. So that was a long explanation, but I hope you enjoy. If it didn't really make sense, you'll probably have to go back to the first video. I just couldn't really figure out the best way to show this game because there's so many branching paths. I hope this is okay and hope you enjoy. So after deciding to go and explore the house as a group, you're presented with these three choices. And last time we took the staircase. So let's see what happens if we go through the door on the right. Let's go through the last door on the right.
Sounds good to me.
Even though Li Mei doesn't say anything, it seems like she's disappointed. As soon as I step into the room, I regret my choice.
Oh, Kansei! Hello again!
Marissa Klein stands up from the couch she was perched on and rushes towards me as if we were old friends.
I'm so sorry about before. No hard feelings, right?
Yeah, sure. Marissa's eyes grow wide at the sight of Li Mei.
Oh my! Aren't you adorable?
She leans down to inspect Li Mei's face.
Not really.
Li Mei stares back at Marissa calmly as she contradicts her.
You're a precocious child.
She turns to me with a fake smile plastered on her face.
Is she your little sister?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. You'd make a wonderful older brother.
If you say so. Marissa straightens up and takes a few steps back, as if to admire the three of us.
So, are the three of you Liam's friends?
No, we're just here to talk with Mr. Auden about things.
Oh, what kind of things?
Marissa's eyes light up with a burning curiosity. I suddenly feel uncomfortable sharing any more information with her. Just things. It's nothing.
Oh, you can tell me. I promise I won't tell anyone.
She winks and places a finger to her lips as if to prove that she won't speak about whatever secrets we might divulge. It's really not something we should be talking about.
Oh, don't be silly. You can talk about anything with me. It's not about about Liam, is it?
You know what? We're done here. I'm really not interested in continuing a conversation with such a shallow and annoying person. I turn and head for the door without bothering to wait for Marissa to respond. Lee May follows without any objection, but Naoki glances worriedly over his shoulder as he follows us out.
What was that all about?
It's nothing.
That definitely wasn't nothing. You lashed out at her for no reason.
Hey, I had a reason. She annoyed me. She's a reporter. Get it? She's not interested in us, just the story. She's such a two-faced liar. Naoki sighs.
Lots of people lie, though, especially the people we have to deal with. That's not really an excuse to be unkind.
He looks disappointed.
We have to be better than this.
A romantic idea, but that doesn't cut it too well in the real world.
Well, should we keep exploring the house?
Yeah, let's get... This time, let's take the last door on the left.
Good idea.
Lee May frowns, but she follows us into the room without complaint.
Whoa.
It feels as if the three of us have been transported into a museum. The room is filled with art pieces and artifacts. It looks like they're from China. Well, Mr. Otten certainly knows how to spend lavishly. The three of us wander around the room, stopping here and there to inspect some of the pieces. Most of them are labeled, but I'm still not exactly sure what any of this stuff is. Lee May seems particularly captivated by a large tapestry on the far wall. The tapestry features 4 animals circling around each other. At the foot of the tapestry sit 4 polished plates. Each plate has one of the animals carved into its surface.
Dragon, phoenix, tortoise, and tiger.
The tiger. I'm getting a strange feeling of déjà vu, like the tiger should sound familiar. Why does it feel like I should know this? Hey, what exactly does the tiger do?
The tiger and the dragon are eternal rivals, equally matched in strength. The dragon is the sly one, ruling through intelligence and trickery. The tiger is the strong one, fighting with raw power and force. Mind versus body. They represent balance, opposing forces of nature. Why do you ask?
No reason. It just stood out to me. Anyway, it doesn't look like there's much to see here.
I'm surprised that Mr. Otten has such an expensive collection.
Why? I thought all rich people like to spend money on useless things.
Well, it's more like it doesn't seem his style. As far as I can tell, he's never publicly stated he has any interest in Chinese history. Usually an avid collector likes to make his collections well known. It's a mark of pride.
Yeah, but we're talking about Mr. Otten here. He seems to be paranoid about pretty much everything. I doubt he'd just tell the world about his expensive collection of priceless art from China.
It's not art.
What?
It's protection.
Really? How do you know?
The words. Safety. Refuge. Peace.
I look at Naoki. He looks worried. Is she right?
I think so. Lee May knows better than I do, though. She was born in China. I can only read whatever Chinese overlaps with Japanese characters.
So all those artifacts he gathered up are for protection. Protection from what?
I don't know.
We look at Lee May, but she shakes her head. There doesn't seem to be any indication of what Mr. Otten is trying to fend off.
Well, should we keep exploring the house?
Yeah, let's get... After finishing a conversation with Kevin, if you leave and then enter back into the room, which I never went back to talk to him, another scene comes up. Kevin smirks at me as I enter.
You're an interesting guy, Kansei.
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, you keep some interesting company. I was bored, so I decided to run facial recognition on them. I found quite a few newsreels about them, complete with security camera footage and mugshots. I admit, I literally laughed out loud at the one where they sold ownership shares to the Space Needle.
They did what?
Oh, you didn't know? Like I said, you keep some interesting company. Weirdly enough, when I looked up their police records, they were completely empty. They haven't been charged with anything.
No surprise there. Detective Gursky said that Aki cut a deal. No doubt she used her Kansei to make her argument a little more compelling.
The other girl with you is the real problem, though.
Who? Lee Mei?
I couldn't find a single thing on her. No online profile, no yearbook, no images of her anywhere, and no connection to anything your other friends did.
So maybe she doesn't like social networking and she was homeschooled. What's the big deal?
Dude, seriously? You've gotta make a real effort to be that much of a ghost. There's no way that the government isn't involved in trying to cover something up.
You're one of those guys who think the moon landing was faked, aren't you?
Oh, come on, it's not like that. Besides, how much do you know about her anyway?
Well, I can't exactly tell him she has a Kansei that makes her a human sponge for emotions. But beyond that, I really don't know a thing. Aki seemed uncomfortable about the topic, and Detective Gursky shut me down completely when I asked. I know enough.
Of course you do. You're the genius detective, after all.
Oh no. Kevin taps a few keys on his keyboard and 2 of the monitors light up with an old newspaper article.
Genius siblings solve another cold case. I gotta admit, you're actually kinda cool. So, are you on a super secret mission right now or something?
Huh? What are you talking about?
You know, since you're using a fake name and hanging out with criminals and stuff.
Oh, right. If he found that article, it means he knows who I am. I hate this house. No, it's just Aki's nickname for me.
Well, that's disappointing.
Life's not all secret missions and government conspiracies, you know?
It would be cooler if it were.
What should I talk about? That's all for now.
Come by if you want to ask me anything else.
After exploring the entire house and then talking to Aki, who comes back, and then going to the hallway, Liam shows up, and you're given 2 choices, which sort of affect where he goes. So, last time I said it looked more like he was murdered, which caused him to get really freaked out and then go back to his room upstairs where you can't access him. So this time I'll show you what happens if I say, yeah, it was probably a heart attack.
Yeah, figured as much. Well, that's that, I guess.
That's it? You're just going to shrug it off like that?
Am I supposed to cry or something?
He's your family.
I've lost family members before.
He shrugs.
Really, it's more annoying than anything else.
He kicks the door to the living room and the sensor by the door beeps a complaint.
Right.
Liam rolls his eyes and turns towards the camera. The lens takes a brief moment to focus before the sensor beeps and the door opens.
Can't believe I'm locked in this stupid place because of a stupid heart attack.
Marissa's eyes light up the moment Liam enters the room.
Liam Otten, just the man I wanted to see.
What?
Liam looks a little taken aback as Marissa gushes over him.
I'd like to interview you for the magazine Modern Trends, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
Liam quickly regains his composure and throws himself on a nearby couch.
What do you want to know?
I quickly duck into the room before I have to watch any more of this display. Afterwards, you can move into the living room where Marissa and Liam are, and you get another new scene. Liam looks up at me from the couch with a bored expression on his face.
Oh, hi again.
I scan the living room quickly. Liam's the only person here. Where's Marissa?
Oh, her? She went to the bathroom, I think.
He turns his back to me and focuses on the widescreen television set in front of him.
Did you want something?
Just wondering if we could talk.
What? Are you a reporter too?
No.
Oh, right. You're with Aki. She said you guys were economics students studying Uncle's business practices.
Economics students? I would not have called that. Yeah, school paper.
Well, you can ask me anything you want, I guess. But I don't really pay attention to what Uncle did.
Well, what should I talk about? Do you know if your uncle keeps a vault in the house?
Oh yeah, he totally does.
Do you know where it is?
Nah, not so much.
I feel my shoulders sag in defeat. Any guesses?
Well, he always told me it was in a place I could get to easily, but no one would be able to see me. Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention.
There's a shocker.
He was pretty proud of it, though. Said that even if someone managed to find and open it, they still wouldn't get the contents.
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe it's booby-trapped. Can you imagine that? Someone opens a safe, and then boom! Money on fire everywhere!
Yeah. Is there anyone who might want your uncle dead? Liam frowns and stares at the ground.
Lots of people, I guess.
Can you be more specific?
This is stupid. I don't have to tell you anything if I don't feel like it.
Sorry, I was just asking. I heard that your uncle didn't pay his employees.
Well, Sophia and Kevin, yes. He said that in order to trust someone, money can't be involved in the equation.
Wouldn't it make someone less trustworthy if you didn't pay them?
What, you think one of them killed Uncle? What would they have to gain? If he's dead, it's not like he could pay them.
Liam eyes me suspiciously.
You're asking weird questions. What's this really about?
Just asking some economics questions. Nothing big. Well, that's all. Next up, I'll head over to the bathroom.
Oh, hello, Kansei. Did you need to...
Marissa points at the stall. No, it's fine. I was just wondering what you were doing in here. Marissa frowns and begins to fidget.
Well...
Wait, do I want to know?
It's nothing bad.
She scans the room quickly with her eyes.
I just needed a place where I could be private. You know, someplace where no one's watching. There are cameras all over this place, you know?
So? She shivers.
That's terrifying. Aren't you bothered by the fact that someone you don't know could be watching your every move at any point in time? We give up so much of our private lives into the hands of strangers, and we don't even think twice. Doesn't it bother you?
I guess so. It's probably something that should bother me more, all things considered.
Well, Mr. Otten at least had the decency to leave the restroom as a private area. I wonder how long that will last.
So you came in here because you needed to be alone?
I just needed some time to think without feeling like someone is watching me.
I guess. I'll just leave you alone then. Yeah. Hey, feeling better?
Yes. I'm sorry for earlier. I just needed some time to myself to think.
Come up with anything?
I'm really not sure. I'm probably just overthinking.
About what?
Mr. Otten's death.
She touches the side of her forehead and rubs it slowly.
I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking. Sometimes I see scandal where there isn't any. I really need to do more research before I say anything.
Marissa's definitely nervous about something. She keeps repeating herself. Has she figured out something?
I'll talk to you later.
Except I can't say anything to her. So at this point, I never went back to talk to everyone, but everyone has a lot of new things to say. Detective Gursky, I heard that Mr. Otten was conducting genetic experiments on people. Mikolaj's eyes widen.
That's a pretty strong claim. Are you sure?
Well, not exactly. I mean, Marissa said there were rumors about it.
Listening to rumors is a dangerous thing. Each has a grain of truth wrapped up in a powerful lie.
Well, there's enough truth in them that she came all the way here to investigate.
And then let's hope she turns something up. Until then, I'd be wary of believing things without any substantiation. Try not to get into too much trouble.
That's cool.
Kevin, do you know anything about Liam's nightlife?
You mean all the drinking and gambling, or extra stupid stuff?
Well, I was thinking about other things.
Oh, the dog fights then.
You knew about that?
Well, yeah. I'm the reason Mr. Otten found out in the first place. He asked me to track Liam's movements on his phone. Guess he didn't trust him. There's a surprise. Anyway, I noticed Liam was spending more and more time in a corner of town that's not really hot on the usual party clubs, so I did some more digging. Found out that Liam was watching dogfights, and in some cases, funding them himself. Big Will was furious when I told him. When you showed up, I thought he had hired a private investigator to get some proof. I guess it's kind of a moot point now.
So, about your family's debt. Kevin's face darkens and he tugs on his hair nervously.
Yeah, that.
There's nothing to feel bad about.
You think so? Because I think there's plenty to feel bad about.
He glares at me.
My parents took out a loan so I could go to a good college, yeah? Everything looks okay until my last year when the company suddenly changes their policy. The minimum payment shoots up and the interest rate goes through the roof.
They can't do that.
Sure they can. It was in the contract, printed all tiny and in legal junk.
He rolls his eyes.
My parents are too trusting, but they wouldn't have gotten into this situation if it wasn't for me. And if I had been there, maybe I could have read the contract myself and seen something.
He looks like he wants to say more, but instead he merely gazes at the ground.
So yeah, I feel pretty bad about it. But what can I do, you know?
That's all for now.
Come by if you want to ask me anything else.
Naoki, do you do everything your sister tells you to do? It seems like you keep giving up what you want in order to please her.
Actually, it's sort of the other way around. Our mother died during birth, so Aki was the one who had to raise me. She gave up her life for my sake. I guess after making her life so difficult, I'm just trying to make things easier for her now. Besides, I don't do everything she tells me to. We argue all the time.
Seriously? It sure doesn't look like it to me.
Stay with us a little longer, and you'll see plenty.
Why do Aki and Detective Gursky hate each other so much?
Well, both of them have very strong personalities, but they have different approaches to solving problems. He thinks she's too impulsive, and she thinks he's too indecisive.
And what do you think?
I think they're both right, and I think things are gonna go terribly again if they don't realize this.
Again? What happened?
I guess...
Naoki bobs his head back and forth as if he's trying to think of a tactful way to say something very blunt.
Well, they both agreed that it was the worst blind date ever.
What?
Oh, please don't tell anyone I told you that.
Yeah, sure. I can keep my mouth shut. Naoki smiles at me. He looks relieved.
I'm sorry, I have to get going.
What's up?
Aki wants me to look around upstairs for a bit.
Right. Okay, sure. See you, I guess? Does anyone in your family suffer from any kind of medical condition? Sophia places her hands on her hips and gives me a sharp glare.
Has someone been talking about my husband?
Oops, maybe I shouldn't have been so blunt about that. Liam told me about him.
That boy.
Sophia's expression tightens for a brief moment, but it doesn't take her long for her to regain her composure.
Yes, my husband's heart is failing, and Auten Engineering is the only company with the technology to keep him alive. Mr. Auten allowed my husband preferential treatment in exchange for my services. I may not receive a paycheck, but I value my husband's well-being even more.
She clasps her hands together and straightens her back.
Now please do not pry any further into my private life.
Do you know anything about experiments with altering genetics that Mr. Auten ran?
Mr. Auten has run a good number of studies on genetics, but experimentation was more the forte of his old business partner. That was nearly 20 years ago, though.
Can you think of any reason why anyone would want to kill Mr. Auten?
Sadly, I could name several. Mr. Auten wasn't a very popular man in the business world. His most recent project stepped on a lot of toes.
And that would be?
Organ replication.
What?
Auten Engineering is concerned mostly with mechanical organs like artificial hearts or lungs, but lately Mr. Auten has been trying to find a way to grow organs from living tissue. The process involves taking a tissue sample from the patient and using it to recreate the organ they need replaced. It ensures compatibility, and it allows for replacement of things impossible to substitute with mechanics, for instance bone marrow. The end goal was to be able to recreate any and all parts of the human body when necessary.
That sounds pretty sketchy.
Well, under certain circumstances it is. Of course, technicalities aside, the ethics of such research. Well, there were the obvious protests, demonstrations, and death threats.
Hang on. Why didn't you mention this before?
I didn't think it was important.
Are you kidding? He received death threats and now he's dead. You seriously don't see the connection?
But none of them seemed like serious concerns. Besides, Mr. Auten received death threats for lots of his work. I didn't think this would be any different.
Oh, really? Why would people threaten to kill him?
He saved a lot of lives with his work, but people have died because of him, too. Once in a while, one of the organs built by Auten Engineering malfunctions and someone dies as a result. It's not a common occurrence by any means, but they are tragic, and Mr. Auten often receives the full hatred of the victim's family. And of course it's very expensive to get a replacement organ. People have gone into debt over them, and that brings about much hatred as well.
It's starting to become more evident why Mr. Auten doesn't like living around people. If that many people hated me, I'd probably lock myself up too. You'd think that with all the lives he's saved, people wouldn't hate him so much.
It's really not as simple as that. It's possible to do good things with bad intentions.
Whoa, she looks angry. I thought she was really distraught about Mr. Auten's death, but looking at her now, she definitely seems to be harboring anger towards him.
I'm sorry, I really don't know much more than this. The only thing I know about his work is what I wrote for his press releases. I know he kept copies of all of his research, but I'm afraid I wouldn't know where to look.
Was Mr. Auten planning to cut Liam from his will?
He was. Liam's actions were very costly in terms of both money and public image. Mr. Auten wanted to punish him for his cavalier attitude. Dogfighting a few months ago, that was the last straw. Last week Mr. Auten informed Liam that he would no longer be inheriting anything.
How did Liam take that?
He was furious, naturally. He called Mr. Auten a selfish and greedy old man, and he said that he'd make him regret his decision. Mr. Auten never got around to doing it. A lawyer was scheduled to visit next week. As it stands, all of Mr. Auten's fortune now belongs to Liam.
How convenient for Liam. Killing someone seems like a good way to get revenge, although I don't think Mr. Auten regrets much now that he's dead. Still, it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Of course.
The door to the living room swings open. I jump aside to avoid being hit in the face.
Oh, hey! Sorry, dude. Didn't see you there.
Yeah, I figured as much. Going somewhere?
Yeah, just heading back upstairs to my room. There's like nothing to watch on TV.
Liam pushes past me and strides into the main lobby. I hurry after him. Oh, well, I was wondering if I could ask you something first.
Yeah? Yeah, okay, shoot.
So, do you really participate in dogfighting? Liam's eyes grow wide.
Why is it that that's all anyone ever talks about?
Is that a yes? He rolls his eyes.
Sure, whatever, yes.
I'm surprised that he confessed so easily. I guess he feels like he doesn't have anything to lose. Why? I tried to keep my cool, but I didn't expect him to be so bold about it.
Because I was bored. Duh.
Aki is watching us intently. It seems like this conversation has caught her attention. That's a terrible excuse, Liam. Liam throws up his hands in exasperation.
Oh, please. Animals fight all the time in nature, so why shouldn't we throw a little money on it?
Because in nature, animals aren't kept in cages between fights. The loser isn't shot in the head, and...
Yeah, okay. Forget I asked. Let me guess. You're a vegetarian.
I raise an eyebrow. What if I am?
Yeah, I figured as much. I'm really not in the mood for another lecture.
Liam turns and heads up the stairs.
I'm out of here.
Liam bounds up the staircase 2 steps at a time. Aki glares at him as he ascends the steps. She shuts her eyes and breathes out a single, quick breath.
Ah!
Without warning, Liam trips on a step and falls forward, planting his face neatly on the top flight of steps. He looks around in a disoriented panic. With some effort, he scrambles to his feet and runs up the stairs, disappearing down the hallway past Mr. Otten's office. I spin to face Aki. What was that? She gazes off into the distance, suddenly interested in some invisible point on the ceiling.
What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You did that.
Sort of.
Care to elaborate?
Well, when I push a thought into someone's mind, it can be anything. An idea, a desire, or in some cases, a simple scream. It has a sort of disorienting effect. Confuses the senses momentarily.
She smirks.
Comes in handy more than you'd expect.
I'm not sure whether I should be impressed or disgusted.
You could be impressed and disgusted. Impressed?
Please, don't. Detective Gursky, it turns out that Mr. Otten was going to cut Liam from his will.
Well then, that's an interesting turn of events. Do you know why?
One too many run-ins with the law, it seems. The big one, apparently, was him getting involved in dogfighting. Detective Gursky grimaces.
That would do it. Am I to assume that Mr. Otten never actually got around to making this all-important change in his will?
Yeah. Sophia said that the lawyer was going to come by next week.
Great.
A lot of people are mad at Mr. Otten because of his research. Detective Gursky rolls his eyes.
Don't I know it. There have been multiple public demonstrations concerning Otten Engineering's work.
Do you think it might have something to do with his death?
It's possible, but it's hardly likely. I don't see how any one of his demonstrators could have gotten in here to kill Mr. Otten. An attempt on his life by one of them is more likely to take the form of a gunman or a bomb.
And I think with that, I've talked to everyone completely. Alright, so now I will examine the statue thing that I'm supposed to get the key. and head over here.
You're excited.
Same text. My stomach lurches as soon as I step into the hallway. Oh no. I spin around, looking down the stretch of doors, but I don't see anything. What is it? Who? The bathroom. It has to be in there. I rush to the bathroom door and throw it open. As soon as I enter the bathroom, my stomach does another flip. This is not the scene I was hoping for. The mirror in the bathroom has been shattered by a single blow. Lines of red trickle slowly down the glass. A body has been hastily tossed into one of the bathroom stalls. I approach and recoil at the sight. It's Marissa. Shards of glass are embedded in her forehead, and blood drips slowly down her face. The blood hasn't dried yet. That means she must have died recently. I kneel beside her and touch her hand. As soon as my fingertips touch her palm, my mind is flooded with her final thoughts. I'm struggling, but whoever is holding me is stronger than I am. I twist around and open my head to scream, my mouth to scream, but I feel my head being forced forward. The last thing I see is my reflection rushing towards me. In the mirror, I see the blur of my assailant reflected as well. Kevin. A sharp pain rips through my head, and then nothing. As soon as I return to reality, I stand and run to the lobby. Detective Gursky, Aki.
Whoa, Con, what's up?
I stop to catch my breath. It's Marissa. She's been killed.
What?
In the bathroom, it was. Our conversation is interrupted by a shrill beeping noise.
What is that?
Upstairs, I hear the pounding of footsteps. Liam races down the stairs, his eyes lit with excitement. Naoki follows behind him, looking confused.
Hey, can we finally go now?
What? No.
But we're coming out of lockdown. That beeping noise means that all the doors are going to be unlocked.
Unlocked? Oh no.
We race down the hallway to the security room. The doors hang wide open. Kevin is nowhere to be seen. Li Mei appears in the doorway. She looks scared.
Kevin ran out through the museum. I tried to stop him, but he had a knife. I'm sorry.
Aki shakes her head and places a hand on Li Mei's shoulder.
No, it's okay. You did the right thing.
Even as she says that, her face tightens. She's clearly not happy. Unfortunately, Naoki appears behind Li Mei with more bad news.
Liam's gone too. He made a bolt for the front door as soon as we turned around. Detective Gursky went after him, but...
Aki smashes her fist into the keyboard, and I'm fairly certain I hear the sound of plastic snapping.
How could we have been so stupid?
Oh, no.
Naoki watches helplessly while Aki fumes.
Stupid! Stupid! Stupid!
There was nothing we could have done.
Nothing? Well, that's not true.
Aki snorts through her nose.
We had everything, Con, but we didn't piece it together fast enough. I should have known, and now look. Marissa's dead, and 2 of our suspects have run away. Surely we could have stopped at least some of this.
Aki sighs, and her shoulders sink.
We're going to be in so much trouble. I don't know if...
Her rage has disappeared, replaced by a sense of broken defeat.
We're done here. Let's just wait for the police. There's nothing we can do anymore.
Hey, it's not a total loss. I reach into my pocket and run my finger slowly along the edge of the SD card.
What are you talking about?
I'm interrupted by the sound of sirens.
Looks like the police are here.
Aki gives me a knowing look.
We'll talk about this later.
From there on, it's the same ending credits and ending scene as seen last time. So that is also the SD route, but it is called the Killer Too Late ending. Hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to the final 2 major routes of this game. Thanks for watching.